Few shows are as iconic or popular as Bonanza, and its cast is legendary. Set in the 1860s, this show blended light-hearted humor with serious themes. On Sunday evenings, it offered Americans a relatable family they could admire. Behind the powerful legacy of Bonanza was a powerful cast. Despite the passing of many cast members, their subsequent work deserves recognition. Let's dive right in. Michael Landon as Joseph Little Joe Cartwright. The youngest Cartwright son, whose mother was a widow and whose own child had died of fever, was of French Creole heritage. Little Joe features in all but 14 episodes of Bonanza, appearing in a total of 416 episodes. Starting in 1962, plans were made to introduce another son due to Pernell Roberts' dissatisfaction with his character. Landon, born Eugene Maurice Orowitz on October 31, 1936, in the Forest Hills area of Queens, New York, starred as Charles Ingalls in the pilot for what became another hit television series, Little House on the Prairie, on NBC, where 9-year-old actress Melissa Gilbert played his character's daughter. In March 1964, RCA Victor Records released another single by Landon, titled Linda is Lonesome, Without You. His singles have since been reissued on CD by Bear Family Records as part of a Bonanza compilation featuring various artists. Landon also performed on television shows like The Dean Martin Show and Hullabaloo, as well as live on stage at various theatrical events. On April 2, 1991, while on a skiing vacation in Utah, Landon began experiencing a severe headache. 3 days later, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, which had already begun affecting the surrounding tissues and blood vessels. The cancer was inoperable and terminal. Landon acknowledged that his smoking and drinking likely contributed to his pancreatic cancer and attempted to quit smoking after his co-star Victor French passed away from lung cancer. On July 1st, at the age of 54, Landon passed away in Malibu, California at 1:20 p.m., with his wife by his side. At the time of his death, Michael Landon had a net worth equivalent to $40 million in today's currency. Lorne Greene as Ben Cartwright. Ben Cartwright is the widowed head of his family. In the early episodes of the show, he remembers each of his late wives through flashbacks. It was common in most Westerns to introduce a hint of romance but steer clear of marriage. Few media cowboys had wives on screen. Whenever one of the Cartwrights became seriously involved with a woman, she would either die suddenly or leave with someone else. Lorne Greene, originally named Lion Hyman Greene, was born in Ottawa, Ontario, to Jewish immigrants from the Russian Empire, Dora and Daniel Greene, who was a shoemaker. His mother called him Chaim, and his name appeared as Hyman on his school report cards. According to a biography written by his daughter, it's unclear when he began using the name Lorne or when he added an E to his last name. Greene started acting while attending Queen's University in Kingston, where he developed an interest in broadcasting through the radio workshop of the university's Drama Guild on the campus station CFRC. He abandoned a potential career in chemical engineering, and after graduation he became a radio broadcaster for the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, CBC. Greene was married twice. His first marriage was to Rita Hands of Toronto, 1938 to 1960, ending in divorce, though some sources suggest their marriage began in 1940. They had twins born in 1944. His second marriage was to Nancy Teal, 1961 to 1987, until Greene's death, with whom he had one child. In 1960, Greene built the Ponderosa II house in Mesa, Arizona, located at 602 South Edgewater Drive. It is a replica of the house from the Bonanza set, originally located at the Ponderosa Ranch in Incline Village, Nevada, and is listed on the Mesa Historic Property Register. Greene passed away on September 11, 1987, at the age of 72, due to complications from pneumonia following ulcer surgery at St. John's Hospital in Santa Monica, California. At the time of his death, Lorne Greene's net worth, adjusted for inflation, was equivalent to $10 million. Victor Sen-young as Singh. Singh, the cheerful and easygoing Chinese cook for the Cartwright family, often became frustrated when the family was late for meals. As the loyal house servant, his role as the comedic relief involved mostly doing household chores. However, he once used martial arts to defeat a formidable family enemy. Singh appeared in a total of 108 episodes of the series. Sen-young made his first notable acting appearance in the 1938 film Charlie Chan in Honolulu, playing Jimmy Chan, the Chinese detective's number 2 son. In this movie, Sidney Toler took over the role of Charlie Chan from the recently deceased Warner Oland, while Sen-young replaced Oland's number 1 son, Lee, who had been portrayed by Kay Luke. Young also had a recurring role in 7 episodes of the TV series Kung Fu, starring David Carradine as a Shaolin monk in the Old West. Besides acting, Sen-young was a skilled and talented chef. He frequently appeared on cooking shows and published the Great Wok Cookbook in 1974. In 1972, Sen-young was a passenger on Pacific Southwest Airlines Flight 710, which was hijacked. The FBI stormed the plane, and during the gunfire, Sen-young was shot in the lower back. He and another injured passenger survived, but a third passenger and the 2 hijackers were killed. In 1975, he appeared on Gary Moore's To Tell the Truth and recounted the hijacking. Despite being dressed in a sport coat and standing beside 2 distinct imposters, none of the 4 panelists identified him as the character actor. Victor Sen-young passed away in his North Hollywood home in 1980 at the age of 65. The actor, who ran a small mail-order Chinese pottery business, was crafting clayware and using an oven to cure the items when he died of natural gas poisoning due to a gas leak. His body was discovered on November 9th, but it was believed he had been dead for at least 10 days, possibly since around October 31st. Pernell Roberts as Adam Cartwright. The eldest son, Adam, is an architectural engineer with a university education. Adam was responsible for designing and building the impressive ranch house. Despite the show's success, Roberts left the series after the 1964-65 season, a total of 202 episodes, to return to stage acting, reportedly due to disagreements over the show's direction. John Goddard was originally offered the role of Adam Cartwright, but declined it to star in Johnny Fletcher. Roberts was born in 1928 in Waycross, Georgia, as the only child of Pernell Elvin Roberts Sr., a Dr. Pepper salesman, and Minnie Betty Myrtle Morgan Roberts. In 1949, he made his professional stage debut alongside Moss Hart and Kitty Carlisle in The Man Who Came to Dinner at the Olney Theater in Olney, Maryland. He later spent 8 weeks at the Bryn Mawr College Theater in Philadelphia, where he portrayed Dan in Emlyn Williams's Night Must Fall and Alfred Doolittle in Bernard Shaw's Pygmalion. From 1991 to 1993, in his final television series role, Roberts lent his distinctive voice to host and narrate the TV anthology series FBI, The Untold Stories. His last TV appearance was in 1997 on an episode of Diagnosis, Murder, where he reprised a character from Mannix that he had portrayed decades earlier. Roberts married Judith Anna Lebrecq on October 15, 1962, but they divorced in 1971. He then married Cara Knack in 1972, and they divorced in 1996. At the time of his death from pancreatic cancer on January 24, 2010, Roberts was married to Eleanor Criswell. Pernell Roberts had a net worth equivalent to $10 million at the time of his passing. David Canary as Candy Canaday. Candy Canaday, a spirited Army brat-turned-cowboy, became a trusted confidant, ranch foreman, and timber vessel captain for the Cartwrights. Born in Elwood, Indiana, and raised in Massillon, Ohio, Canaday was the middle child of Hillary Canary and Lorena Heel. His brothers were actor John Canary, known for a role in All My Children, and writer Hilary Glenn Canary. They were said to be great-nephews of the legendary Martha Jane Canary, Calamity Jane. Canary was a star on the football team at Massillon, Washington High School, graduating in 1956. The school honored him as a distinguished citizen 35 years later. Instead of signing with the Broncos, he chose to pursue acting in New York City. After serving 2 years in the United States Army, Canary moved to Los Angeles to further his acting career. His final appearance at the ranch in character was in 2002 for a PAX TV special. In March 2012, David was chosen to replace the ailing 90-year-old Jack Klugman in a limited-run production of 12 Angry Men in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Canary was married to actress Maureen Maloney, with whom he had a son, Chris, and a daughter, Kate. With his first wife, actress Julie M. Anderson, he had a daughter, Lisa. Canary passed away on November 16, 2015, at an assisted living facility in Wilton, Connecticut, at the age of 77. He had been diagnosed with dementia years earlier. Mitch Vogel as Jamie Hunter Cartwright. Jamie Hunter was first introduced in A Matter of Faith. The red-haired orphan of a traveling rainmaker, Ben took him in and adopted him in A Home for Jamie. Born in Alhambra, California, Vogel started acting at 10, appearing in stage productions of Tom Sawyer, Heidi, Peter Pan, and The Wizard of Oz. As his acting career grew, he attended Heinz Kaiser Junior High School in Costa Mesa, California from 1969 to 1970, and later attended Jordan Junior High School in Burbank, California. Vogel made his film debut at the age of 12, starring in the 1968 comedy Yours, Mine, and Ours as one of Lucille Ball and Henry Fonda's children. The following year, he played Lucius McCaslin in the feature film The Reivers, which earned him a Golden Globe nomination for Best Supporting Actor in 1969. In 1978, Vogel left the entertainment industry, formed a rock band, and moved to Pittsburgh. He married Christine Giel in 1985. They have 2 daughters. Vogel now lives in Southern California and has spent time directing and performing in church plays, as well as singing in a band. In 2002, Vogel returned to the Bonanza filming locations for the Travel Channel's TV road trip, where he narrated an account of his visit to the Ponderosa Ranch in Incline Village near Lake Tahoe, Nevada. In 2004, he was featured in an interview in Bonanza Gold magazine. He participated in both the 2005 Bonanza Convention and the 2010 Bonanza Weekend in Liverpool, England. Vogel was interviewed online in January 2017, where he described how he landed his role on Bonanza. Mitch Vogel has a net worth of $500,000. Ray Teal as Sheriff Roy Coffey. Sheriff Coffey was occasionally the central figure in an episode, such as in No Less a Man. In this storyline, a gang of thieves has been terrorizing towns near Virginia City, and the town council wants to replace Coffey, whom they consider past his prime, with a younger sheriff before the gang targets their town. However, they are unaware that the gang had initially avoided Virginia City because their leader was cautious of Coffey's long-standing reputation. The gang leader only agreed to rob the Virginia City Bank after intense pressure from the other members. In the end, Coffey proves to the town that experience and wisdom are more valuable than youth and a quick draw. Teal was born in Grand Rapids, Michigan. A saxophone player, he supported himself through the University of California, Los Angeles, by working as a band leader before transitioning into acting. After over 15 years of performing in films and early television, Teal secured a recurring role as a police officer in the ABC sitcom Where's Raymond, 1953 to 1955, later renamed The Ray Bolger Show. Teal played small roles in Western films for several years before landing a minor part in Northwest Passage, 1940. He also portrayed Little John in The Bandit of Sherwood Forest, 1946. Some of his notable film roles include playing one of the judges in Judgment at Nuremberg, 1961, alongside Spencer Tracy, and a lenient bar owner in The Wild One, 1953, which starred Marlon Brando. Teal appeared in 3 episodes of the 1955 to 1957 anthology series Crossroads, which focused on clergymen from different denominations. He passed away from undisclosed causes on April 2, 1976, at the age of 74 in Santa Monica, California. According to various online sources like Wikipedia, Forbes, and IMDb, Ray Teal's net worth was estimated to be between $1 million and $5 million at the time of his death. Bing Russell as Deputy Clem Foster. Clem Foster was the handsome deputy of Virginia City. He took over as sheriff when Roy Coffey stepped down from the position. Russell was born in Brattleboro, Vermont, to Ruth Stewart and Warren Oliver Russell. He always aspired to be an actor and studied drama at Brattleboro High School. He spent his childhood near the New York Yankees spring training camp in St. Petersburg, Florida, during the 1930s and 1940s, where his father operated a plane service. Russell made his film debut in Cavalry Patrol and had several uncredited roles early in his career. In 1963, he was cast as John Quigley, a Chicago mobster, in the episode 5 Tickets to Hell of Jack Webb's CBS anthology series, G.E. True. Russell owned the Portland Mavericks from 1973 to 1977, the only independent team in the short-season Northwest League. He maintained a 30-man roster because he believed some players deserved one last season. His philosophy was centered on fun. He established a park that kept all corporate sponsorship outside its gates, hired Lanny Moss, the first female general manager in professional baseball, and appointed the first Asian American GM to manager. In 1945, while working at Teddy's restaurant in Newport, New Hampshire, a co-worker introduced Russell to his future wife, Louise Lulu Crone. They married in 1946 and had 4 children together, including actor Kurt Russell. Russell passed away from complications related to cancer on April 8, 2003, in Thousand Oaks, California. Roy Engel as Dr. Paul Martin. Roy Engel played the role of Dr. Paul Martin in the series. Of Irish and Dutch heritage, Engel's father was Roy Englewood Stultz. A standout football player at Rockhurst High School and Rockhurst College, Engel worked in a warehouse after graduating from college. Engel's career in radio began at KCMO in Kansas City. His first network radio role was on Jack Armstrong, the All-American Boy, and he later played the title character on the radio version of Sky King from 1946 to 1947. He made his film debut in DOA. Engel was married and had a daughter, Royan. He passed away on December 29, 1980, in Burbank, California. Lou Frizzell as Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes, a wandering nomad, crossed paths with Hoss and Little Joe in Virginia City and subsequently established a livery business in partnership with the Cartwrights. Eventually, he and Jamie Hunter relocated to Ponderosa, where Dusty became the ranch foreman. Lou Frizzell was an American actor and music director who worked on Broadway productions, television shows, and films. Frizzell passed away from lung cancer in June 1979 at his home in Los Angeles, California, at the age of 59. Kathy Brown as Laura Dayton. Kathy Brown portrayed Laura Dayton in the series. Born Jacqueline Sue Brown on September 19, 1929, in Humansville, Missouri, she was the daughter of Wynn Roscoe Brown and Irma Mae Wood. Her family later relocated to San Luis Obispo, California, and then to Los Angeles when she was 10, where she attended local schools. She obtained her first Social Security card at the age of 13 in April 1943. After graduating from high school, Brown studied drama at Los Angeles City College, LACC, where she won an award for Best Acting. Her television acting career began in 1955 with a guest appearance on Big Town. Brown appeared in numerous films and television series, including 4 different roles on Perry Mason, as the title character and defendant Donna Loring Ross in the 1960 episode The Case of the Provocative Protégé, as defendant Susan Fisher in the 1962 episode The Case of the Mystified Minor, as Carla Eden in the 1963 episode The Case of the Festive Felon, and as defendant Lona Upton in the 1965 episode The Case of the Thermal Thief. In 1962, Brown appeared as Laurie Kemper on the TV Western Lawman in the episode titled Heritage of Hate, and as Deela in the 1968 Star Trek episode Wink of an Eye. Brown, under her birth name Jacqueline Sue Brown, married actor-producer Sherwood Price on November 22, 1953, at the Chapman Park Hotel in Los Angeles. She later married actor Darren McGavin in December 1969, and they remained married until her death in 2003. A breast cancer survivor, Brown passed away from natural causes on April 8, 2003, in Beverly Hills, California, at the age of 73. Grandon Rhys as Dr. J.P. Martin. Grandon Rhys, who played Dr. J.P. Martin in the series, was born in Jersey City, New Jersey. Before his film debut in Follow the Boys, 1944, Rhys gained experience by acting in repertory theater in various cities, including Montreal, Oklahoma City, Omaha, and Hartford. He also had a recurring role as banker Chester Vanderlip in The George Burns and Gracie Allen Show. In January 1932, he became the leading man of the Auditorium Permanent Players in Rochester, New York. Rhodes's Broadway credits included A Boy Who Lived Twice, The Deep Mrs. Sykes, Flight to the West, Abe Lincoln in Illinois, Ceiling Zero, Lost Horizons, and Antony and Cleopatra. Rhys was married to actress Ruth Lee. He died at age 82 in Encino, California. Guy Williams as Will Cartwright. Ben's nephew, Will Cartwright, was introduced as a lead character in 5 episodes. In 1964, the year Bonanza reached #1 in the ratings, Guy Williams was set to replace Pernell Roberts following his departure, allowing the series to maintain the 4-Cartwright dynamic for the remainder of its run. Guy Williams, born to Sicilian parents on January 14, 1924, as Armando Joseph Catalano in the Washington Heights neighborhood of New York City, pursued acting, encouraged by his striking looks and 6 feet 3 inches height. When he chose not to continue his studies, his mother, who later became an executive at a foreign film company, was disappointed as she had hoped he would follow in his father's footsteps as an insurance broker. By 1950, Williams was starring in some of the first television commercials in the U.S. His father passed away in 1951, never witnessing his son's rise to fame. In 1952, Williams secured a new 1-year contract with Universal International and relocated to Hollywood. He also made an appearance as a town sheriff in an episode of The Lone Ranger. In 1983, Williams returned to Los Angeles for 2 final television appearances. He reunited with his Lost in Space cast members June Lockhart, Angela Cartwright, Bob May, and Marta Kristen for 2 special episodes of Family Feud, competing against the casts of Batman and Gilligan's Island. He later appeared as a guest on Good Morning America. In 1989, after spending several solitary months in Argentina, it was reported that Williams had gone missing. On May 6, 1989, local police searched his apartment in Recoleta and discovered his body. An autopsy revealed that he had died a week earlier from a ruptured brain aneurysm. Due to his immense popularity in Argentina, his ashes were kept for 2 years at the Argentine Actors Society Cemetery in La Chacarita Cemetery, Actor Pantheon, and Crypt 278. In 1991, in accordance with his wishes, Williams's ashes were scattered over the Pacific Ocean in Malibu, California. At the time of his death, Guy Williams had a net worth of $10 million. Tim Matheson as Griff King. Griff King is a parolee attempting to turn his life around while working at the Ponderosa Ranch under the guidance of Ben Cartwright. Matheson was born in Glendale, California, to Clifford Matheson, a pilot trainee, and Sally Matheson. He served a stint in the United States Marine Corps Reserve. At the age of 13, Matheson portrayed Roddy Miller in Robert Young's CBS nostalgic comedy series Window on Main Street during the 1961 to 1962 television season. In the 1962 to 1963 season, he appeared in 2 episodes of Leave It to Beaver, playing Mike Harmon, a friend of Beaver's. In 1964, he lent his voice to the main character in the animated series Johnny Quest and voiced Junior the Sailor in the 1960s Hanna-Barbera animated series Sinbad Jr. and His Magic Belt and Jace in Space Ghost. He co-starred as Joe Hardy, alongside Richard Gates as Frank Hardy, in a 1967 pilot episode for a potential TV series called The Hardy Boys, based on the popular novel series, though the series was never picked up. Matheson appeared in the film Van Wilder, 2002, playing the father of the title character, a role inspired by his own character in Animal House. Matheson's character even alludes to the good times he had at Dartmouth, where the fraternity that reportedly inspired Animal House had a strong tradition of existence. He also appeared in the auto racing film Red Line and a 2008 Volkswagen commercial. In 2009, Matheson directed the pilot episode of Covert Affairs, which premiered on USA Network in 2010. He also directed the pilot episodes of The Good Guys, 2010 for Fox, Criminal Behavior, 2011 for Lifetime, and Wild Card, 2011 for USA Network. From 2011 to 2015, he played Dr. Brick Breland on Heart of Dixie. Since 2019, Matheson has starred as Doc Mullins in the Netflix series Virgin River. Matheson has been married 3 times. His first marriage was to actress Jennifer Leake from 1968 to 1971, whom he met on the set of Yours, Mine, and Ours. In 1985, he married Megan Murphy, with whom he had 3 children. They divorced in 2010. He married Elizabeth Marighetto in March 2018, and the couple currently resides in Hollywood, California. Tim Matheson is estimated to have a net worth of $7 million. Dan Blocker as Eric Hoss Cartwright. The kind-hearted middle son, Eric, is almost always called Hoss. The nickname reflects his large size and is an affectionate term for big and friendly, given by his Swedish mother, Inger. Blocker was born in DeKalb, Texas, to Ora Shack Blocker and Mary Arizona Blocker. As a child, Blocker attended Texas Military Institute and later Sul Ross State University, where he earned a degree in speech and drama. In 1946, Blocker played football at the Southern Baptist-affiliated Hardin-Simmons University in Abilene, Texas, where he was a standout player, graduating in 1950. After serving 2 years in the military, he earned a master's degree in dramatic arts. Director Robert Altman became friends with Blocker while directing episodes of Bonanza. Years later, Altman cast Blocker as Roger Wade in The Long Goodbye, but Blocker passed away before filming started. The role was then given to Sterling Hayden, and the film was dedicated to Blocker. In 1963, Blocker co-founded and gained partial ownership in a successful chain of Bonanza steakhouse restaurants, where he appeared in character as Hoss in their commercials and made personal appearances at various locations. Blocker, a liberal Democrat, was one of the Hollywood celebrities who supported Pat Brown's re-election in 1966 as governor of California against Ronald Reagan. In 1968, Blocker backed U.S. Senator Eugene J. McCarthy of Minnesota for the Democratic presidential nomination. Later, Blocker supported the Democratic Party's eventual nominee, Vice President Hubert H. Humphrey, also from Minnesota, in the presidential race against Republican Richard M. Nixon. Blocker owned a home in Englewood, California, and a 6,000-square-foot Tudor-style mansion in the Hancock Park area of Los Angeles. On May 13, 1972, Blocker passed away in Los Angeles at the age of 43, due to a pulmonary embolism following gallbladder surgery at Daniel Freeman Hospital. Dan Blocker was an American actor with a net worth of $5 million at the time of his death. The enduring legacy of the Cartwright family and the Ponderosa continues to live on in our hearts. Their unbreakable bond and thrilling adventures will forever be cherished. However, the passage of time has brought both joy and sorrow. Some of our beloved cast members have tragically departed, leaving a void in the hearts of fans worldwide. Let us honor their memory for their invaluable contributions to this iconic series. Until next time, may the spirit of Bonanza continue to inspire and entertain.